Dr. Kadira Pethiagoda is a geopolitics expert, former Australian diplomat. He's now joining us live from London. Dr. Pethiagoda, Happy New Year and thanks very much for your time. I want us to decode the statements made by Trump and Rubio. Trump said a group of individuals is currently designating individuals in Venezuela who are going to work with America to govern the country. Then Rubio just said the United States is going to work with current Venezuelan leaders if they make the right decision. No mention of names. What do you read from this?
Yes, well, I think it all really depends on how much the new leaders of Venezuela acquiesce to the US, but also on how much the public actually trust that the leadership were not involved in Maduro's kidnapping. Because what the Western media usually doesn't tell you is that Maduro's government was a popular government. The Chavista revolution lifted millions of people out of poverty before the US crippling sanctions destroyed the economy. Mm-hmm. So the new leaders face, I guess, a choice. They either face more pressure from the US, which they've already been facing and which Rubio articulated, or they can submit to the US and face potential civil war, because you have large elements of the military that support the revolution, and you have large elements of the population that support it. So what really appears to have happened is a characteristic Trump compromise, where he gives the US military-industrial complex some taxpayer-funded action in terms of the military attack that they undertook. The Miami lobby gets its pound of flesh, and Trump gets a photo opportunity, but the regime in Venezuela largely remains intact. Because if you see, the main point of removing Maduro would have been to exploit Venezuela's resources, as Rubio claims they want to. And he also alluded to shifting their foreign policy and obviously weakening China and Russia. But if neither of these things really change, then all we have is a show that's more of an exit strategy for Trump.
Mm-hmm. Dr. Pethiagoda, the court in Venezuela ordered Vice President Delcy Rodriguez to take charge. She has already done that. President Trump said he doesn't have a problem with her, even though she's from the same cloth as Maduro. But Edmundo Urrutia's name has been fronted by several leaders, including President Macron. What do you predict comes next for Venezuela?
Yeah, so once again, I think the leadership of Venezuela will have to tread a very careful path. So Delcy Rodriguez, for example, the vice president, I would say is the most likely contender, because she's someone who is with the popular Chavista regime, and she has been giving some really fighting words after Maduro was kidnapped. And so she'll have to, I guess, decide how much she wants to acquiesce to the US, or how much she wants to resist. Mm-hmm. Opposition figures, like obviously Trump already dismissed Maria Mercado, the very unpopular Nobel Peace Prize winner. But I guess it really all depends on the army and the masses and whether they trust Delcy enough, whether they trust other Chavista figures or opposition figures enough to let them take charge. Because mm-hmm. what usually happens is when a foreign country intervenes, then the population really circles the wagons and aligns behind the existing leadership. So yeah, it really remains to be seen.
It remains to be seen. We'll see how this unfolds in the coming future. But Dr. Pethiagoda, it's good to see you. Thank you very much for your time and for talking to us today.
Thank you very much.